Hey, Enlightenment Garden here. Happy New Year. This is my first video of 2018. We're going to talk pruning today. So most of the trees, not including the tropicals of course, have lost their leaves. They're feeling the winter season. Brown turkey still has a few lingering leaves, but a lot of them have gone bare, and it's a good time to prune. See, the guavas are still full of leaves, like this red Malaysian guava. But this June plum here, or sorry, hog plum, red mombin, is completely bare. So we'll actually take a look at this guy, do some pruning on it. Not all the fig trees need to be pruned. There are going to be some dwarf varieties, like this Violet de Bordeaux. I really don't see the need. When you're pruning, you're really doing it to address three issues. You want to cut out any branches that are dead, diseased, or dying. And if you do have any of that situation going on, you probably should cut it 3 nodes below where you see the issue, just to make sure that your tree is sound and that disease didn't spread below. Another thing is to prune for shape. This is one we're definitely going to prune. This is my Panache Tiger. I've already pruned it a couple times this year. You can see that vertical growth there is what this tree favors. And we are going to prune this pretty severely, which is the right thing to do when you have a fig cultivar that's main crop only. Main crop only grows on new wood. So all of this, 1-year-old wood in front isn't going to bear fruit for us. So not really useful, and it's growing tall, so it's hard to reach the fruit if I leave it the way it is. So we're going to prune this one for shape. And really the final aspect is clearing out any branches that could cause issues. So when branches grow inward, that's not good because they generally cross. And you can see that situation is happening on this raspberry latte. If I leave that bottom limb, which is kind of its central leader, that's going to cause a problem for the growth on the adjacent branch, which actually holds my recently grafted Maltese falcon. So we'll be grafting this one to eliminate any kind of cross branching that could possibly cause issues with the limbs touching and basically rubbing against each other, causing damage which can introduce disease. That situation can also cause weight of one branch to weigh on the other and eventually break that limb. So we will be looking at all 3 situations today, and I'll be demonstrating how to do the grafting and also my tools in just a second here. So I'm going to use a few things as I'm pruning today. One is just your basic hydrogen peroxide. Now what I do with this is, before I cut into a tree, I want to make sure that my tool is clean, free of any kind of bacteria. And also in between prunings, you don't want to introduce any disease from tree to tree. So it's a good idea to sterilize your tools. I'm going to be using 2 cutting tools today. Just your basic shears. I think this is Felco. It's a good brand. So for smaller branches, that's a good one to use. And then for the larger limbs, I've got this tool by Silky. It's called a Pocket Boy. So we'll probably be using this one on the Panache Tiger since those limbs are fairly thick. So the first thing is really just to walk around your tree and figure out what structure you want to keep and what you don't. So I've got five limbs here that are coming out. I've got an apple tree nearby. I really don't want this limb to interfere with that. I really don't need this one either. I want some balance to the tree. So I'm going to keep this one, and this one. So these two are coming off. I'm going to use the saw to do this. You're just going at a downward angle. One's done. I want to do the same thing on this side. Really thick branches for a year of growth. So that's looking better. Now the next thing is we want to head this back. We don't want this tall. You know, at one point this was 14 feet tall. Put on 10 feet of growth in a season, so I can expect that to some degree this coming year, or this year. So the next thing is to chop this back. The max height that I'm looking to grow this out at is 15 feet. So I'm looking at about 5 feet, maybe 4 feet. And I'm looking for a node just below where I'm gonna cut this is where I want to encourage a branch to shoot off in a certain direction. So I have some space for it to move out in this direction. So I'm thinking this is a good spot right here. There's a node pushing out this way. So I'm going to grab these shears for this cut. There we go. For this guy, I want it to go back and up. So I'm looking for a node for that. I'm seeing one right here. Actually, this is a really thick branch. So I'm going to use this guy. Downward angle. Okay. And this one, I'm good with it growing from this node here. So growing up out this way. So just to show you closer up what I've done here with the nodes. So you can see that node right below my cut here. That's where you would expect the branch to push growth. We've got another node right there on the central. And then this one I want to encourage it to grow to the side. So I'm going to do a better job too as the new branches develop, that I make cuts and pinches off of the buds during the growing season so that I really start shaping this canopy. Alright, so I also mentioned that you're pruning for, you know, that cross branching situation. And we can see it happening right here. That's going to be an issue. Now, even though I love this fig, raspberry latte, and it produces 2 crops, so this is all productive wood, I'm going to have to remove that branch because it's going to cause issues on that other limb adjacent to it, even though it's a nice tall branch. It would have had to be shortened a little anyways, just to keep the fruit in an easier picking height. So let's go ahead and remove this. It's kind of an awkward angle here. Get in even. Maybe push it this way. Alright. There's that. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to look at is, you know, which of these branches can I really shape. Now this one's kind of just jutting out here. And I really want more of the base structure. You know, I want these branches to bow out. So I'm going to look for a bud towards the top surface that will kind of change the direction of this limb, and I think this is a good spot here. So you can see that bud, it's gonna go more in a upward angle. Same here, this branch, it's heading straight for the Violet de Bordeaux. It's a little too close there. So I'm going to find a bud. Here we go. So it'll grow more towards this palm tree where I have clear space, rather than into its neighbor. Fairly happy with this structure now. It's definitely vase. I could get rid of some of the smaller branches, but I'm going to leave them. I would have definitely removed the smaller branches if, you know, this wasn't a fig tree that could produce 2 crops. Okay, we're over at my hog plum now, and I also see an issue of cross branching here. So this branch here, this came up from the initial central leader. This was initially the top height of this tree, but it's growing right into the new limb. And it's real scrawny. It didn't, you know, fatten up or do much of anything. This tree really favored the new growth, so I'm going to cut it out because it's in the middle here and it's just going to cause problems over time. I'm going to remove this branch too. There's no reason for it. I really want the branches to come off of these instead. So we're going to get rid of those. In front here is a Chicago Hardy. It's one that I planted late in the summer. It's on the east wall, so the westward sun, when it sets, it just beats down on this tree. And it got a little bit burnt up here. I didn't wrap the trunk, and it was such a young tree, it got a little beat up. And while the wood isn't dying, it's definitely not thriving. And honestly, the new wood that's come up looks like it's in a lot better shape, and strategically it's framed better. So you can see these are bowing up, all three of these. This one's kind of in the way, so I'm going to remove it so that these other branches can take dominance. Okay, actually, looks like it was a little diseased, this branch. You can see that dark coloring in the core there. That's not good. So, you know, not only was this something that was bad and could have caused disease to the tree, I'll clean that up even more. Cut it all the way down so it's planed off, but you know, with fig trees and fruit trees in general, having kind of that core middle branch isn't necessarily a good thing, because it blocks out the light. So by removing that middle branch, your outer branches have more ability to fill in, you know, without issues overcrowding and all. So a lot of people tend to prune their central leaders out. Again, forming that vase structure, you get more fruit set that way. So I hope this this video provided some helpful information. I am by no means an expert in pruning. This is actually my first year doing it. These were just some basics that I picked up from other gardeners, you know, out in California in my climate, on how to really encourage good fruit set, and more the backyard gardener, where you're not going to have huge size orchard trees. So I hope this helped. Thanks for watching.